Knicks family, what's going on? I'm Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises,
I'm Stephanie from the Queen's Court.
and you're watching the crossover. Thank you for joining us. Today we are going to talk about Obi Toppin and does he have what it takes to be a starter? To be a starter in this league, will he take advantage of this opportunity? So, Queen, thank you for joining again, as always, co-host.
Appreciate
Um,
you.
I'll start it off. Let me see. I don't. Yes, sir. If
Yeah,
is
I'm,
he
I'm
gonna?
handling the chat today.
All right, I
I got it.
appreciate it. Um, and shout out to the chat as always. I don't know if he has what it takes to be a starter at this particular moment, but I think I have a few things that I think he would need to work on for him to be a a full time starter. I think he's gonna have to take care of these opportunities uh coming up. See how long it lasts before Randall comes back. But number one thing I think he has to work on is that 3 point percentage, the accuracy of his threes. I think I had a problem with coach putting him in that position to shoot threes so much, knowing that wasn't really like a strength or anchor of his game.
Mhm.
But I also believe if he could figure that out, it'll open up all the best parts of his game and make it a lot easier for him to create. We've seen some creation from him. We've seen a little bit of posting. We've seen
Mhm.
little drives to the basket and things of that nature. But I don't think he's able to do that on a consistent basis. Just create his own shot, um, especially off the dribble. But if his 3 point shot becomes more consistent, then it becomes more of a threat because a lot of the times he's open, like wide open now.
Right.
So he needs guys to be running at him, trying to get him off the line. And I think that right there will open up the driving lane. And now he could be creative in a open lane to the basket, which
Right.
I
But
think
he's
will
open
open.
for a reason out there. That's why they're not
Well,
running out at him.
well,
You know?
that's what I'm saying. That's the number one area of improvement I think he needs to
Right.
make
Right.
is put that percentage. It don't have to be 40. It could be 33, 35. Get it somewhere around there where it's
Yeah.
a legit threat.
Yeah. No doubt.
Because he puts enough of them up. Other than that, I think the rest of his game is gonna have to be a slow progression. I don't think it's there yet.
No.
He has great body movement going to the rim
Yeah.
and he's very creative in that area. But he's not very good off the dribble. And I think an open lane to the basket is where he would thrive the most. What are your thoughts on Obi being a starter full time?
Yeah. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready. I think that if we are, part of the difficulty in answering this, it has a lot to do with the direction of the team, which we don't know right now. Quite frankly, I think we're in no man's land. We got a lot of young people on this roster. If the Knicks decide that they're going to go young, then yeah, I can see Obi starting at the four because you're not really trying to. You're not going to be a good enough team. You're not. You probably won't make the playoffs. So basically, you're playing all your young guys. You're trying to get them experience like Detroit is doing, like Orlando is doing. I'm not saying those teams aren't trying to win. They are trying to win each game, but they know they're not good enough for the playoffs, right? So they're just putting their young guys out there to give them some run and experience. If that's where the Knicks are headed next season,
Mm.
then you can put Obi in that position, but on a team that's um, like say they trade Randall, they bring in another power forward. RJ takes another step, IQ takes another step. They bring in a point guard, and the Knicks decide that listen, we're continuing this rebuild. We're continuing the next step. And, we want to try to be a playoff team every single year. And we believe put it this way. He's not good enough to be a starter on a team that's trying to make the playoffs every year.
And
He's just not.
even in that scenario where we're trading Randall and we're bringing in another power forward, is that power forward a starter
That
or
power forward would have to be a starter.
okay.
I don't think Obi at this point is good enough to be a starter on a playoff contending team. On a team like Detroit, a team like Orlando, where you're just trying to give people experience, yes. And the reason I say that is because he's somebody who's limited offensively at this point in his development. I'm not saying he's going to always be that way.
Hmm.
He's somebody that needs somebody to set him up. At this point, he's a rim runner. He's good in transition. I don't know if he's somebody that you could just put him in a box, give him the ball. I need a basket. Put him at the foul line, let him face up. We need a basket. I don't think he's that guy. Now, you can argue that he is. He just hasn't been put in those in those situations. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. But I will say this: a coach wants to win. And if Obi in practice was killing people in the post, killing people facing up to the basket, I believe he would get those opportunities to do it in the game. At this point, I just think his offense is limited. I've seen flashes now.
Hmm.
I've seen him put the ball on the floor, pull up for a mid range. I've seen him in the post. I've seen flashes. So I think more is to come.
Hmm.
But right now, I just think his offense is limited,
Limited.
but I have hope that it's going to improve.
And I do want to amend my statement
Mhm,
earlier. I also believe if he took a huge leap defensively,
mhm,
then we could live with his developing offense and
mhm,
kind of ride with him more minutes, starter minutes, whatever the case. You know what I mean?
mhm,
So it doesn't necessarily have to be just something offensive. If he could take a leap somehow defensively, I think that
mhm,
would be the best way to really make him able to remain as a starter, or
mhm.
improve to become a starter moving forward. Trade Obi and a pick for Cole Anthony. To be honest, I'm not opposed to anything like that, because I think we really do need a point guard. Um, I don't know if I mean he's having a heck of a year this year, but I don't know. I still think he's a liability defensively. Um,
Yeah. So yeah, a shout out to the chat, Hawkeyes, Sanga Waldron, keep. Hope I'm saying this right. Keep giggles. A Woo, Thomas Banks, Sherwin M. Been rocking with us from the beginning, and I got to give Sherwin M. his props. He called the Knicks that the Knicks would win about 32, 32 games for the season, and I thought he was crazy.
mm,
Shout out to you, Angel, Hawkeye, Kerry Cox, always rocking with us.
I hope he put
Always
some
not.
money on. I hope he put some money on it. I
I,
hope
I
he.
I should have.
Well, I hope he did.
I hope he did. Right.
For sure. Yeah, shout out to the chat as always, for sure. What do you think Obi needs to improve on? What's his areas of improvement for him to take a leap?
I think defensively he has to show that he can keep his man in front of him. Yeah. So his one-on-one defense needs to improve. His rebounding needs to improve on the defensive end. His rotations have to improve in terms of his team defense, that he's where he's supposed to be in the team rotation. That's what he needs to do defensively. Offensively, you got to shoot more than 20% from three. You got to show that you're more than a rim runner. You got to show that the only way you're going to be effective for the team is if there's a point guard in transition giving you the ball on the break. Now, I'm not saying that that can't be a part of your game, but if you really want to be a player in this league, you need to be multifaceted. So he needs to shoot the three at a better clip, and he has to show some other moves, whether that's in the post, whether that's facing up to the basket. I mean, step by step. I don't think he needs to do all of this at one time. But next year, I would like to see something more to his game than just alley oops and being able to run the floor.
I agree, and I'm gonna kind of segue into the next segment, or the next topic, with this question. Um, who are you more encouraged about as far as the future, and this is assuming we
Mm,
retain Mitchell Robinson,
okay.
but Mitchell Robinson or Obi Toppin, both are limited in aspects offensively, both rim runners and things of that nature. So if you had to pick one,
Hmm.
what direction would you go in?
Listen, I have my issues with Mitch in terms of his inconsistency. I told you before the show, Mitchell Robinson reminds me of your ex partner. You know what I mean? You break up. I've seen enough. This relationship is just not working for me. And then from afar, you see some positive things. Like you said, oh, looks like you've grown some. You get back in the relationship. It's the same thing. And that's what it's been. My relationship has been with Mitch. Times where I'm like, wow, this guy can be an elite defender. We have to hold on to him. 3 games later, I had enough of Mitch. That's it. He's not going to ever be consistent. So that's my relationship with Mitch. That being said, I'll take that over what I'm getting from Obi because I know that, you know, there's Mitch has an elite skill, right? His ability, his offensive rebound, he offensively rebounds at an elite level, right? He blocks shots. There's something you can count on from Mitch every single game. The other parts may or may not come to his game, but there's certain things you can count on every game. Obi, you don't know what you're going to get from game to game. If it's a half court game, you can't even play him. You can't even play him if it's a half court game. So I would take Mitch.
Even because I mean I think that's a fair question to kind of throw out there because as much as Mitch gives defensively,
Mhm,
and I'm not making this argument because I would pick Mitch as well, but I know there's some Obi supporters out there, and they would argue his offensive potential
mhm,
outweighs, Mitch Robinson's. Um, but I agree with you.
mhm,
I'm not that guy. I think I would go with Mitch if I had to choose.
mhm.
My slogan, "Pay that man." But you wanted to talk about Mitch a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk
Yeah,
about
I
that.
mean, and I'm interested in what the chat has to say about that. This, whether you agree with me or not, but I have a problem. I need Mitch to be a better defensive rebounder. I mean, I like what he's doing offensively on the offensive boards. We need those second chance points. That's the way he can contribute to this team because we miss him a lot on the alley oops. He's not really used in the offense, so that's his contribution offensively when he get those putbacks, and we need it. But I just have a problem with my center having 6 rebounds and 5 of them are offensive, and he has 1 defensive rebound. When you look at his defense, his total rebounds, almost half of them are offensive. I have no problem with that. You're gonna get 5 offensive rebounds. I need 7 defensive rebounds. That's all I'm. That's that's all I'm saying. Randall is out now. Let's see. You brought up a good point. He's not getting them, but somebody else is because we're number 3 in defense. Randall is out now. Let's see. We were out rebounded by Atlanta. It was only 2, but we were out rebounded. Let's see what happens tonight if Mitch is able to get those defensive rebounds as well. But that's that's my issue with Mitch right now. My issues with Mitch changes from week to week. But that's my issue. That's my issue with him right now. I need some defensive rebounding.
And I mean, I think you make a fair complaint. You know what I mean? Like, I think when you look at his overall rebounds, you look at his overall rebounds as his for his career, they're relatively low for a 7 foot center. So somewhere it's lacking, and you can't really argue about the offensive numbers because those are above average. So,
Mhm.
I agree he's lacking in that area, and that was just me playing the devil's advocate. because we're so high as a team, maybe whatever he's doing on that end is allowing a teammate to get the rebound as opposed to you know him getting it. But like you said, he got an opportunity tonight. Let's see if somebody if somebody else is picking up the slack and getting 13, 14 rebounds, or if it's Mitch now that's getting 8 defensive and 6 offensive or something like that.
Right.
So I think it's a fair point.
Shout out to
Um,
Thomas Banks. I mean, Thomas, let me know if I got you correctly. If I, he said you can't rebound if no one can keep people out the paint. So what I'm taking from what he's saying is he's out of position for defensive rebounds because he's rotating. When people are cutting in the
that
lane, he's rotating to stop the drive, and he's out of position to rebound. I think
that's a
that's what
fair
Thomas
point.
Banks is saying. Thomas, can correct me if I'm wrong.
That is definitely a fair point because not only that, but that opens up the offensive rebound with the other center when
What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that? Mitch IQ is so low. That's my main problem with him.
mm. I mean it's not super high. You know what I mean, but I don't think his IQ is a detriment to his game. Like he doesn't now. Granted, he doesn't. He also doesn't get a lot of different offensive opportunities, and maybe that's why he's being restricted in his. You know what I mean? He tends to feel like he's being held back offensively. Maybe that's why. Maybe his decision making is in question, and it becomes more of a liability when you're able to do more things offensively.
Hmm.
So it's like, all right, no, we want you to rebound, defend, lobs, putbacks. You know what I mean? That's how you
Hmm.
get your living.
Hmm.
And I never even thought about that. So that if that's based off of his IQ and not trusting him to
Hmm.
make the right decision, so we're not going to give you the green light to go ahead and shoot that jump or make that decision whether you should or not.
Right.
Um, that's a fair argument. Um, Very interesting. I don't know how you can determine that though, like definitively as fans, like without something being leaked. But great question.
Yeah. Here's another one. The chat is on fire today. I really appreciate your input. Mac S, appreciate you. Does Mitch really change the game defensively? Are teams afraid to go to the paint when he's there? I would say no. What's your thoughts on
I
that?
I beg to differ. I think I'll definitely say this: once he gets one or two, it changes the game
Hmm.
automatically. If not the rest of the game, at least for a period, a moment, a good stretch where yes, he does change the game defensively. And another thing he's figured out is how to change the game without necessarily blocking shots. I think he alters and his presence changes things a lot as well. So I think he does change the game, and you can really see the difference when he's off the floor. I mean that's the biggest difference where you could tell how the game changes when he's not on the floor
Right.
because of whatever reason. So
I mean,
um
I would say I agree in a sense. When he's off the floor, we don't have the rim protection. Um, but does he alter shots? Are people afraid to come in the lane? I mean, when I saw that game against Utah with Gobert and Whiteside, I mean, it was like you was going in, it was like helicopters around you. Like it was just really hard to get a shot up. If they weren't blocking it, they were defending it. And you know what? Gobert said a very he made a good point, and this is to um, the person in the chat who just made a comment about Mitch being out of position. Gobert said, I can get more block shots that I do. But when I block shots, that puts me out of position to get the rebound. So there's some of them that I just give up,
mm,
and he's okay with
mm,
just altering shots or whatever, not going after every block shot because it puts him out of position and he can't get the rebound. Like that's a high, IQ
I,
player.
if you didn't go there, that's exactly what I was gonna say, because I was gonna say it correlates with other guy in the chat who questioned his IQ, because if Mitch doesn't think the game enough to say, you know what, let me give this one up, or not go for the block on this one, because if he misses, the rebound is more important than
Right,
than the two I might give up, or the end one I might give up if he dishes off to the big man behind me that
right,
I'm leaving.
right,
But at the same time, who if he doesn't make any effort, you know what I mean? That's a timeout. Like when a
right,
guy gets an open layup and no contest,
right,
Tibbs is calling that timeout almost eighty
right,
percent of the time.
right,
So I don't know if that's IQ on him or just what is expected of him.
right.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
you're right.
different
The
defensive
chat is on
schemes.
fire.
Yeah, the different defensive schemes, the coach will say, this is what we're not giving up. So it is possible, that Tibbs will say, we need to come out, we're not giving up this. Don't worry about what's happening behind you. We got somebody else that's supposed to be taking care of that. So we're not aware of the schemes. Shout out to Sim, the creator of the channel. Not the way he doesn't. I guess what he's saying is that Mitch doesn't patrol the paint the way Rudy Gobert does right now, but was Gobert changing the game defensively the way he is now at Mitch's age,
Good
right? He
question.
had to grow into that. And hopefully, hopefully Mitch will do the same. He flashes. He flashes. There's times when he flashes and you be like, wow, this guy is going to be an elite defender. Then he goes out and gets 9.6 rebounds. All right, he had 4 blocks in like 30 something minutes.
Or
Yeah.
fouls out.
4 fouls out. Right.
So yeah, no, that I agree. So I mean, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Areas of improvement. You obviously focused on that defensive rebound. Um, is there another area where you think he needs to improve the most at?
Obi or Mitch, we talking?
Mitch.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Um, I need I need Mitch somehow to get his defensive rebounds up. And you make a good point. We would have to go back and watch each game and see how many rebounds was available to him that he missed. I just feel at the end of the season, you gotta be as good a defensive rebounder as an offensive um, rebounder. So if he can become a better defensive rebounder, and I've seen Mitch rebound in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now he
More so
plays
this year than ever too.
more so this year than ever. He plays with Randall. I'm sure that has something to do with it. He plays with RJ, who's a good rebounding guard. I'm sure that has something to do with it as well. And like the listener in the chat said, he's rotating, so he's out of position a lot. But I need him to be more defensive rebounds, and I need him to just change. I need him to change everything. I need him to be a helicopter in there, on a consistent basis. That they know, wow, Mitchell Robinson is in the game. We're not getting nothing at the rim. We're not getting anything at the key. That's what I need from him. And a little offense. I'm not asking for, I'm just saying if you get the ball, a rebound in the key, that you're able to do a hook shot like he did the
Hey,
other night.
yeah, we saw
That's
it.
all. That's all I'm asking. A little hook shot.
We saw it.
You see Todd sometimes he get a rebound in the key or somebody pass him the ball. He'll take I don't know, a 5-footer, a 10-footer, something. Something.
I think it's all covered. Like Sim, shout out to Sim. He says, yeah, he shows flashes, not consistent. But did you see some of that footwork he flashed against Atlanta?
I did
Little
see
little
that.
hop step,
Yep.
Now
Yep.
we've seen this year. We've seen a hop step, a hook shot, a euro step,
Right.
a behind the back,
Mm-hmm.
oh, a baby hook,
Mm-hmm.
I know
A,
I'm
a,
missing
a
some.
ball, a fake, put the ball on the floor, took it all the way in for the slam. We've seen that as well.
Oh my goodness. I mean, granted, he ain't Jokic, he ain't
Mm-mm.
even Gobert, but let him. Give him some time. I think he's worth
It's 4 years already
bringing.
now. How much
Hey,
time?
Steph, Steph, you can't. You got to have the same energy for everybody in the sense that yeah, people aren't at their best after they rookie contract. You know what I mean? Like it takes time throughout the league for whomever the position is. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's gonna take
Hmm.
RJ time. The thing is, even with the time, it's not a timetable that's set for everybody. You know what I mean? Everybody's timeline is gonna be a little bit different. So you got a guy that might pop his rookie year, his second year. It might be 6 years. You know what? It might be three teams
Yeah,
before
but
he
how much
pops.
money they command? And you want to take
I,
6 years to pop? Okay, but not at 15 million. You know what I mean? So the money has something to do with it.
I agree, but we have to agree. Even though he signed a contract, you know what I mean. We got our extra value from him in these 4 years, right? Like he played better than a $1.8 million player these past 4 years.
Off and on, yeah, he has. Kerry Cox, Mitchell, top 15 center. I can't argue with you, but I don't. That may be have a lot to do with the state of the center position as well.
Mm. Well, you can't knock him for that. He
No,
can't.
no, you can't. No, no, I
He can
can't.
he can still be 30. There's somebody
Hmm.
37 out there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. But
I don't know about this listening party. He said rebounds come to him. In other words, he ain't even going. He not even going to get it. I have my
oh
issues with
man.
Mitch, but I think I think he's shown that he can rebound in traffic.
All right. I mean, this is gonna be a good. I'm expecting a good game from him. So hopefully, you know, post game we could kind of marvel in some of the things we see tonight. We gonna uh, what you got there? There's a lot of centers in the draft. Mitch can take what the
What the
Knicks
Knicks?
offer or what. Hey, fair
Wow.
enough. And that draft talk coming soon. Yeah, I'm telling you, we it is upon us. So we gonna talk about potential picks and all that good stuff soon.
Yeah.
Um, let's kind of move on to
Hmm.
another player that we kind of
Okay.
want to talk about
Hmm.
and their path to success or their path to increasing role on the Knicks, and that's Quentin Grimes. I think he came in and kind of opened some eyes, from the fans, probably from the organization as well. And I think he's well liked. I think he's kind of like a fan favorite kind of kid with more talent than the typical, fan favorite that you just want to see get on the court, knowing that he's not really that good. I think this kid is pretty good defensively, offensively, at least shooting the ball. But what do you think his areas of improvement are, and what would you like to see him come back with next year and say, all right, now this is gonna stamp him.
Yeah. I mean, two areas. I would like to see his ball handling tighten up a little bit, and I would like to see him be able to hit the mid range because he hits the three. They're gonna rush. They're gonna run out to him to guard him, and if he's able to fake and take a few steps in and hit that mid range, that makes him, very difficult to guard. So those are the two things that I would like to see him improve
Man, I should have went first.
on. But I will say this about Grimes, and I hope I'm wrong because I don't like to limit young players.
Hmm.
I see him as a high floor guy, not a high ceiling guy. And I could
Hmm.
be wrong. I could be
I,
wrong, but
I
I see him
agree.
as more of a high floor guy.
I agree with that too. But I think even with that being said, I think it's like a still 10-year pro. You know what I mean? 11
No
year
doubt
pro.
about it.
Like just a solid NBA player, not an all star, obviously, not a
Mm-hmm.
not a a superstar or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and who's to say if he does, great and great
If
for
he
us.
does, great. Yeah.
But I think he could be at the very least a quintessential 3 and D guy, uh, a glue guy, as Sim would say. Shout out
Mm-hmm.
to Sim.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But he's a quintessential. Did you say 3 and D?
3 and D and glue
Yeah.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep. Just a team player. I love the fact that when a team or coach has to tell you like shoot it when you open, or
Mm-hmm.
if you don't shoot it when you open, you coming out the game type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that clicks immediately. You know what I mean? Like that after there's no adjustment to that. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? So I love that from him. That shows that the organization has ultimate confidence in him. And yeah, you said it exactly what I would have said. His ball handling, tighten that up. Um, I mean, I'm not saying to the point where he could play the point guard, but if that happens, that I think that would be great.
Right.
But you don't got to
Right.
do it.
Even if he
You know,
doesn't play the point
yeah.
guard, even if he's in there with a ball handler, if the
hmm
rebound comes to your side, you should be able to bring it up and initiate the offense.
hmm No questions asked.
Yeah.
No, you don't even got to necessarily take that 2 seconds. You could
Right.
find the guy after you already made a couple of dribbles to
Right.
to
Correct.
keep the defense on the heels. So
Right.
I agree. Ball handling, not just the mid range though. I think I want to see a little bit of finishing too. I
Mm.
think he has the body to kind of take some body contact and kind of be aggressive. I don't know if he's super strong because I haven't really seen him go into the basket like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it looks like he could. It looks like he should be attacking rims. So
Right.
as
Mm-hmm.
as as well as the mid range, I would like to see him start to attack the basket. Um, and if you're not gonna do that, develop the floater. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a feasible shot in this league, but you can't. You have to have a game somewhere within the 3 point line to the basket. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somewhere in
Right.
between there.
Right.
And last thing is really which I think he's pretty good at already, but I want to see more of him cutting to the basket. I think that's the majority of the time you see him get to the rim is off
Mm-hmm.
cuts.
Mm-hmm.
So if that has to be your bread and butter, you got to
Do
you
we
got to
have that
utilize
even
it.
in our offense? Like, I don't really see a lot of like cuts, where a player cut to the middle and get the ball in the paint.
All right, here's the thing. It it can be hinder it can hinder you if it's not
Mm-hmm.
a actual play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's an IQ thing as well. Because sometimes you see the hole and you cut. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you may not get seen, you may get seen late, but sometimes you gotta break the play. Is what is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and that boils down to a IQ thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're breaking the play, and it also relies on the IQ of the guy who has the ball as well. But you know what I mean? You break the play, and it's a good move. The coach ain't gonna be mad.
Right. Right. Yeah. IQ did it all the time last year.
Um, was there somebody else we had on the list? We covered everybody. I'm
No, there was four players. We did IQ, Mitch, Grimes. I thought there was another play. We decided we weren't going to do Cam because he's
can't.
injured. Um,
I don't know if you want it. Do you want to touch on? You want to talk about Deuce?
oh
I
my
mean,
God, we could talk about Deuce.
it,
Let's
it's
talk
it's.
about Deuce family. I know there's strong opinions about Deuce in the fan base, so let's talk about him.
You know what? Hold up.
Hmm.
Before we get to Deuce, let's
Okay,
talk about Sims. Because
Sims.
I like Sims. I'm encouraged by what I've seen from Sims. A lot of people think that Sims makes Mitchell Robinson expendable. Um, I don't think he's there yet.
Hmm.
I don't even know if he's where Mitch was rookie year.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily agree with it.
Mhm.
So I would back to what you said earlier, where if we were going in the direction of, all right, like I think you were referring to Obi,
Mhm.
in that
I was.
direction where we going young. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We're gonna see what we got with him. We're gonna give him some time to grow, and all that. I have no means with it, no, like no problems with it. But if it's starter, ready replacement, then
Mhm.
I'm not in agreement with that at all. So I don't think he makes Mitch expendable. I think he's a good, like, insurance policy, but even in that role, I
Mhm.
think that makes Noel more of a need than anything. You know what I mean? Because I don't think
Mhm.
he's starter ready. But a nice piece to keep and
Mhm.
groom and let him
Mhm.
grow organically.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think of that? And then we'll get into areas that he needs to improve on.
Yeah, I think Sims has surprised me. Actually, um, with his lateral quickness, with his IQ, being where he's supposed to be, reminds me of Tarj in that respect. He's where he's supposed to be for the most part. His ability to trap out on the perimeter, get back in the key. Um, I really like him. He definitely has a high floor. I don't know if he has a high ceiling though, but he definitely has a high floor. I see him being in this league for a very long time as a backup, but I wouldn't be surprised. I don't like to put limits on young players. I wouldn't be surprised if he turned into a starter. I just don't see it. And I don't think he has the upside that Mitch has. But it goes back to what type of player do you like? Do you like that player that has the high ceiling? You know what you're going to get a high floor, and you know what you're going to get every single night? Or that player that'll play at an elite level one night and then come up with a dud the next night? It depends on the type of player you want. Mitch is that tease for me, but the question is this going to be him for the rest of his career, or is this just Mitch rounding into shape, right? Because there's up and downs as you round into shape. I don't know yet. It's year 4 and I still don't know. But with Sims, you know what you're going to get every single night. I like him, but he wouldn't be a replacement for Mitch. If we lost Mitch, we would have to go out and get a starting center unless
And
we're going young.
and I'm conflicted because you got some who say, "Well, this is Mitch's 4th year; he's just a rookie." But I believe they're the same age. You know what I mean? So the experience that Mitch lacked coming into the league,
Hmm.
Sims has had 4 years of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? 4 years of that experience that Mitch had to skip coming into the league.
But he
So
got it in the NBA though. He didn't get it in
exactly,
college. He got it in the NBA though.
exactly. But in my brain, I'm comparing rookie Mitch to
Mm,
to Sims now, and I
gotcha.
still would have went with rookie Mitch, and we're talking about
Rookie Mitch could only be on the floor for like 5 minutes.
there's times where that's Sims' problem as well. Like I don't think he's not getting rookie Mitch opportunity, so it's hard to judge it that way. But I think there's times where he gets in foul trouble. I think that's one of his weaknesses at this point, even though it's not to the extent of what Mitchell
Mm.
Robinson's was. But he's
I
also
think
not.
he's ahead of Robinson where Robinson was as a rookie.
You do?
I think
That's
he's ahead of
interesting.
where Robinson was as a rookie. I think as a rookie, Robinson can run and he can jump. He went after every block shot, whether he put him out of position
I,
to
I
get a
think that was his.
rebound,
I think that was his biggest problem. That
and
that 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 he
he
went for
fouled a lot.
every block.
Yeah.
And when you're a shot blocker, you got to learn. You know what I mean? You got to learn that patience. That
Hmm.
you know what I mean. What Gobert said, like sometimes that one's not worth it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Sims, not necessarily a shot blocker in that sense, to where he goes for everything because you know what I mean. Like
I
so.
agree. I just think Sims has a higher IQ than
Oh,
Mitch.
I agree with that as
as a
well.
rookie. I'm talking about as a rookie. I think Mitch has gotten better over the years. But a player can come in as a rookie and be a little, you know, more developed than another player, and then that player can pass him. And I think if
Mhm.
Mitch will ever become consistent, he would pass him. No, no, no problem.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. Areas improvement for him.
Sims,
Yeah,
you know, I wonder when he bats the ball, is it because he can't get to it? So I would like him to haul those in if he can. But if he can't, I mean, I think that's good enough. It gives us another opportunity. I'd like him to be a better free throw shooter. I forgot to say that about Mitch as well. I need Sims to be a better free throw
I,
shooter.
I
I
wasn't
need
gonna
him to
remind
yeah, be a better position defender. I would like him to be a better rebounder as well. He's rebounding okay. I would like even more, and to continue doing what he's doing in terms of getting out there and trapping and playing the guards on the perimeter. I think he does a great job. Just continue to develop that.
you. Yeah, I
And
think you
somebody
nailed
said,
it.
Mac S, appreciate you. Low post moves, footwork in the paint, defensive awareness. Yeah.
Yeah, if he could get some footwork, I think he could be a monster. Um, I mean, he's not as big as a um Ben Wallace, but
Yeah. I think he's,
I think
you mean not height wise, you mean like
yeah,
stout?
yeah, yeah.
He's pretty,
He's pretty. No, I
he's
mean,
pretty strong.
granted, he's a rookie, so you know what I
Hmm.
mean. Like, even though Ben was big coming
Good
out to
point,
me,
Sam.
I, what do you say? Oh, I
I
like
like
to
to see
see
him
it.
score off the offensive rebound. He always looks to kick it out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, get a little selfish sometimes,
Hmm.
but I mean, part of that is probably he's always been that team guy, never been a focal point, like even throughout college. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So he kind of had to just find his way. But yeah, I'm encouraged with Sims. Areas of improvement for me, definitely the free throw shooting, because I want to see if he could end up being a guy who could pull a 15-footer. But if you can't shoot a free throw, then I don't I don't necessarily want you shooting a 15-footer either.
Yeah.
Um, so shooting and free throw shooting would definitely be my areas of improvement. I think the footwork, all that stuff will come with time.
Hmm.
Um, we might need a new big man coach now that we lost one, but
Hmm.
I think the right guys in the organization will teach him that, and he'll figure that out for sure.
Hmm. Hmm. No,
Um,
I'm just clicking. I'm just
yeah,
clicking.
they out there. They out there. So, shout out to the chat for sure. Shout out to Sin as always, sharing the platform.
Definitely.
Queen. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to touch on or throw in there?
We got a few minutes. Did you want to do the Deuce thing or no? Not
Yeah,
really.
yeah. You know what? Let's talk about him. Let's talk about him.
Okay.
I like him. It's a conundrum to me. I'm starting to lean towards those fans that are saying play him, because at this point we might as well see what he could do against competition, NBA competition, and live with the result. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Live or die with the result, because where is we got to know where his spot is, where his chances moving forward, right? And if the consensus is is
We
the
was just talking about this before we came on, that we
Mhm,
fall in love with these players and then they go to other teams and they don't play there either. And it just lets
mhm,
us know that, they
mhm.
not all that. That happened with Frank, that happened with Knox.
And I don't think that their fan bases over there are screaming for them to play either.
Right.
So but again, those are winning teams at the moment, or playoff bound teams. So when you're winning, it's easy to let a rookie sit, or let a young guy sit.
Hmm.
When you're losing, it's like you might as well play him. We ain't winning anyway, and
Hmm.
who could
Hmm.
who could argue with that, right? So I'm for it at this point. Give the man 20 minutes a game minimum, and let him get some NBA competition. See what he could do. I even say give him the green light and encourage him. Don't don't put him in a tell him to use his decision making. And that's gonna tell me everything because I don't care how talented you are as a point guard. If you're gonna run the point guard, your IQ has to be there because you could be an elite point guard based off of IQ and not have
Mm-hmm.
the athleticism or the you know what I mean the speed
Mm-hmm.
or you know what I mean like the fancy handle. So and maybe that's not him, but I want to see. I want to find out. So I'm for it. Uh, what do we need? What does he need to improve? I guess playing time at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is my take on Deuce. I'm okay with where Deuce is now. I'm okay with him finding his way. He's the 12th person on the bench, maybe the 11th, right? The guy we signed from the G League is probably um is probably 12. Um I would like to actually see IQ start. Um and that being said though, even if IQ starts, that does open up minutes for
Yeah.
McBride in that second unit. Listen, rookies all across the league aren't playing. The 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th guy all across the league aren't playing, even on bad teams. So if he does play, yeah, that would be great. I would like to see it, but I'm not pounding my chest and getting all worked up because the 11th or 12th player on the bench is not getting time. That's just my perspective on it.
Well,
Um,
but I agree with you. But my only argument against it is where we are right now, and with his future being somewhat of a uncertain. I'm saying like give him the opportunity now. Now we can make. You know what I mean, give him opportunity now. It may make it an easier or a tougher decision on what we're gonna do with him going forward because.
I think it's going
w-
to be an
w-
easy decision anyway. I don't see
mm,
any path forward for McBride. I
mm,
just don't. He's
mm,
not a starting point guard. We're going to have to bring in a starting point guard. If we don't
mm.
trade Rose is going to be the backup point guard,
I
right?
see.
If
I see a world where IQ could start though, and he could be the backup.
if IQ is our starter and McBride is the backup, the Knicks didn't do their job in the offseason.
Mm.
That's my take on it. I see McBride as a situational player. Even next year, unless we decide that we just going all young like Detroit and Orlando, we're not trying to make the playoffs. Then yes, he should be in the rotation.
And I'm sorry, I'm lying. I don't see a world. I was just saying like we won't know unless we see see what he can do against NBA players. Let me not
Right.
even act like I'm. You know what I mean? I'm just saying if he gets the opportunity, he may be able to shot
Listen,
some
listen,
people.
listen. He may. But this is what I will tell you: the Knicks are not going to make any changes until they are mathematically eliminated. I was reading an article today. Tibbs said we got to win every game going out if we want to make the play. I'm like, they still in it. They in their mind in that locker room, they trying to win out until
Well,
they are mathematically
well,
eliminated.
maybe that means one more loss, right?
Maybe I
Maybe
wonder
that.
what the magic number is.
No, I
I,
mean in Tibbs' mind, if he's saying we gotta win every one,
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Maybe that means one more loss, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll go the other route because what you gonna say after a loss? Now we really need
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
lying last time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I hear you though. Nah, that's funny.
Yeah. 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 So appreciate you, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
Well,
I I
I
don't I
mean,
don't see I don't see the lane for him to play next year unless we just scrap it down to the bones and just do a yard sale. Just get rid of. I just don't see a path forward.
fair enough. I mean, I, I don't either, but I want to see him before we. I at least want him to get the Frank type opportunities, because a lot of people said Frank didn't get opportunities. He definitely got opportunities under in his 4 years here, or 3 years, however many years it was. Like maybe
Hmm.
not, last year, or maybe not last year, but he's got opportunities. I just want Deuce to get that same type of opportunity.
But
Um,
Frank got a lot of opportunities, before um, Tibbs got here. So the regime was playing young players. He also got opportunities when there were injuries. Um, we weren't a playoff. We weren't trying to make the playoffs when Frank was here.
yeah, when he had, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
then he got then he got that one opportunity against Trey Young at the end of the game. Yeah, I was like, oh, Tiz really don't like him, yo. Like that's a but I wasn't a Franker either. I wasn't part of the Frank hive, so I I, I'm just playing devil's advocate out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really see a path for him. I hope he gets the opportunity to show something and just make it a tough decision. You know what I mean? Make it
I mean,
hard
he would
hard
have
for.
to ball out for them to say, we're not gonna bring Derrick Rose back. We're gonna trade him. We're not gonna bring in a point guard, because I think they would feel more comfortable if Tibbs is still here. Tibbs would feel more comfortable playing IQ over McBride
Yeah, at this
at,
point,
at that point. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. That's I mean we and to once you get there, you know what I mean, you kind of like cemented
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah, no doubt. I was
whatever
thinking
role he
about
sees
this
you
the
in.
other day when Tibbs say, you got to earn it. I think what he means, you got to earn my trust. He ain't
Hmm.
talking about practice. You got to earn, you got to earn my trust. And you're right. Once you earn his trust, you cross over that line.
Hmm.
You got a long leash. You could do no wrong. You got to cut him at the knee in order to get back on the other side. But
Yeah.
until then, I think that's what he means. Even if that's not what he means, I think that's what he means. You got to
That's
earn
yeah,
my
that's
trust.
yeah, because I mean we've seen it time and time again. We've seen, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? We've seen it with Grimes.
Hmm.
Earned it. You know what I mean? Like it was like made it it's tough on Tibbs. Like, all right, now anytime something wasn't looking right, looking a little funny in the light, all right, let me give this kid an opportunity because he showed out last time. Oh, he showed out again. You know what I mean? Look at that defense. He ain't
Hmm.
shooting well, but he's still playing hard. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's affected the game.
Hmm.
So I agree that
Yeah.
there you go. That
Because think
circle of
about
trust.
it. When Grimes got into the rotation, he didn't even play every game. Sometimes he would play, other games, Tibbs would go with 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then eventually he just started playing so well during his limited minutes that he expanded the rotation to 10 just so he can get in there.
And that's why I keep saying, you know what I mean? Like this is the best learning experience for these young guys. Like it's sink or swim. You know what I mean? It's like shark, whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? It's a tough environment to be in, but it makes you tougher. It
Right.
makes you ready to go every time, ready to go
Mhm.
under any circumstance. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it builds this different type of character because
Mhm.
you earned your way, you fought your way. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't given to you.
In
So
a crowded backcourt too.
and so I
Mhm.
like that idea from Tibbs making the young guys kind of fight it, earn it. You know what I mean? Because once you get there, it can't just be taken away from you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
it's you made it through that circle. But I
Mhm.
love it, man. I love it.
Mhm.
I think we good. We got
Yeah.
54 minutes. Of a good conversation.
Mhm.
The chat was lit. Appreciate you guys for sure for joining.
Definitely.
Um, no nicks and bruises this week. I was under the weather. I'm feeling a lot better today. I might do something on Saturday, so we'll see. If not, I'll be back Monday. Nicks and bruises, probably 6:30 ish. We got Queens Court at
Yeah.
8:30.
Well, the Knicks play at 7, so we got to move some
Oh,
things
oh,
around.
all right.
7:30. They play
We'll fit.
Chicago at 7:30. So we probably, I'm off Monday, so whatever
Yeah,
time.
me too. We'll everything will be pushed up a little bit early. We'll
Hmm.
get you guys. But yeah, shout out to the chat, Queen.
Definitely.
Appreciate it. We gotta keep this thing going. Congratulations on your channel. You shout
Yes.
that out again too.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Let
yeah.
them know. Let them know where to find you. Like, subscribe,
Yeah,
share,
yeah.
all that.
Yeah, Dope Soul Sports Talk, trying to bring you that dope content. That word right there lets you know about how old I am or what area I grew up in. Um, it's gonna be an extension of what I'm doing on MBK. So I'll still do the Queen's Court, the crossover, pregame, special events. But I'll be doing right now. I'm doing. I don't make the post game on MBK, so every night, the next day, I'm dropping my post game takes on the game. I dropped my first one today against the Atlanta game. So please subscribe to the channel, get that notification. I'm gonna drop another one tomorrow with my take on the Charlotte game. I'm gonna go live, do some chat shows, do some interviews, some collaborations. So it's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And let me see if I can get the link. I
There it
should have
is.
came
There it is. It's up
prepared
there.
with the link.
Put it in the chat.
Look at Sam. Sam
Sim
is
put it in the
on it.
chat.
Yeah.
So
So definitely do that. But it's we expanding the MVK network, so it's all good.
that's right. That's right. Congratulations for sure. And I think we good. We out of here. Thank you, chat, Sim. Make sure y'all hit
Definitely
that like
appreciate you,
button. Go
Sam.
subscribe right now before y'all, exit out and watch something else or go to the game.
Yeah, the link is in the chat.
It's in the
It's
chat.
pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. So just go below and get it. And I appreciate it. Listen, it's gonna be such a long off season. We got so much to talk about.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
we got
My
so
bad.
much to talk about between your channel, my channel, the main channel, nothing but Knicks. It's gonna be enough content to go around in this off season. Trust. Appreciate you, Jabino, and everybody else that just subbed. I appreciate you, and those that's gonna subscribe later. I appreciate you too.
That's it. We out of
Yeah,
here.
we out of here.
Peace. Steph, you gotta end it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.